Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to part three of the three-part series on education in our new reality. Today is a conversation with students about school reopenings. My name is Trishika Melvin, and while I am a proud public school graduate of the Jim Hill High School and Jackson Public School, I currently serve as a senior community advocate with the Southern Poverty Law Center, and today I have the incredible honor of serving as a host for this conversation. I want to send a special thank you to our sponsors for today, One Voice, under the incredible leadership of Executive Director Nashawn B. Lambright Haynes, and the Mississippi State Conference of the NAACP under the great leadership of Executive Director Dr. Corey Wiggins and State President Robert James. So I know we have a lot of questions and we have an incredible group, so I want to jump straight into questions. I will start by asking each of our panelists to quickly introduce themselves by saying your first name, your year, and your high school or district. And so first, I will kick it to you, Sana.
Hi, I'm Sanaa. I'm a class of 21 and I'm from Long Beach.
Hello, my name is Kaja. I attend Greenville High School and I'm a senior.
My name is Chris.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Gibbs, Jefferson County High School, and
And you, Chris. I know y'all are both excited.
My name is Chris. I go to Jim Hill High School. I'm a junior.
Okay, great. Well, thank y'all so much for joining today. And I'm going to jump right into the first question. So I know we're talking about school reopenings, but I want to see kind of how did you all feel when everything happened earlier this year and schools were closing down? Kind of how were you feeling and what was your experience learning virtually?
I was a little stressed out about it. I had a few AP classes, so I wasn't sure about how that would work, like with upcoming test dates and whatnot. But I was kind of relieved because we acted pretty early. We had no cases down here like around that time, so I was thankful for that they acted so early. But then when we did start virtual learning, I realized that I did like it a lot, teaching myself, and I took the test, and it was okay actually.
Okay, good. That's good to hear. What about you, Chris?
When I first heard about it, I didn't really think, um, well, I didn't think we was gonna be out of school for that long. 'Cause at first, it was like wait a week before we go back. But then, as they started extending the break, I started get worried about sports and how the seniors felt about not being able to graduate like they wanted to, go to prom. Uh, other things that they look forward to doing.
That makes a lot of sense. I think we all were kind of like, is this real? And then we saw that it was. What about you, Keisha?
Honestly, like when they first acted on like the coronavirus, I was excited because it was like it was spending our spring break. So I didn't think anything of it. So it was the first week. And then as it continued months and months, then I was like, maybe this needs to be up,
Yeah,
It was devastating.
yeah. And Kendall, how was your experience? Kind of how did you feel when everything first happened?
well, when I first heard about the pandemic, it was the week before spring break, and then later in our spring break, we received the email from our school saying we will not return. We will start virtually, and when we finished and think it was going to last long, and it was the end of the year, and I had a good experience because my teachers they played a huge role in it. Shout out to Jefferson County High School. And they broke down the assignments. They explained everything to us, and we came out with good grades at the end of the year.
Okay, you better shout out that high school. I'm glad that y'all were having good experiences. So thinking about kind of where that was and kind of where we are now, I know each of your districts are kind of in different places on when they're reopening, and some have already reopened. So how do you feel about schools reopening during the pandemic? And anybody can go first.
I was pretty uncomfortable with it considering when we closed down, the amount of cases compared to now that we're opening, it really doesn't make any sense. But I understand that, eventually we do have to figure out a plan how to open schools. So, just kind of taking it one step at a time, how it's coming.
Well, my school hasn't reopened yet. We'll start learning on the 24th of until October. But I honestly want to go back to school, but they didn't give me the option to go back yet.
Well, I think that reopening schools has positive and negative aspects. For smaller kids, it would be a good able to do virtual for them. I think that they should go back to school because they are small. They can't sit in front of a computer for several hours without growing impatient. They have short attention spans, and they also need hands-on activities. Um, I feel like it should be older kids. They can do virtual and go back to school. Me personally, I would want to go back to school, but I have to look at it with me and my health condition, and I have to think about others like me. And the pandemic isn't safe for us. And reopening schools, students they could be fully engaged on school grounds and on computer on virtual. They might have distractions and in reopening schools, actually in the classroom, students might feel ashamed to ask a question in front of every student. So on virtual, they can just send their teacher email and not feel so ashamed.
Personally, we go back to school. We start virtually on Monday. But me personally, I don't matter if we go back to school or not. I'm fine at home learning virtually because I like being at home. Yeah, to me, learning is easier at home, but at the same time, you don't get the same feeling like in the classroom. You don't get the same instruction. So yeah, I'm good where I'm at. One thing I'm really worried about is sports season.
Yeah. And I know each of you are involved a lot in school, from student government to athletics, and to thinking about, I know, Kasia, you kind of hinted at y'all won't be going back, and Chris, you noted that y'all will be going back virtually. How are each of you learning during this upcoming school year? It's like, is it virtual? Are you doing hybrid? Is it in person at all?
So we are doing hybrid. They split us up like into two teams. And so the first week of school this week, I was virtual. And then like the other half of school went in person. And it's technically like, because we're not doing total virtual learning, it's optional at home while we're at home. But while we are there, we do have to do the work. So.
Mm. And how have you been? I know it's just
It's
started, but how have you felt about that?
I actually like it. I like teaching myself. I just feel more comfortable at home also, and I don't really have that many classes this year. The only class that I'm really worried about is calculus, but so far it's been fine. So
So far, when school opened, it all started virtually. But if they give us the option to go in person, then
I didn't hear the last part what you said. Okay.
I said, so far, when school open, I'm going. But if they give us a go in person, I'm going. My spirit, and I want to have the best experience as possible.
Hear that? Kendall Tree?
My school decided to do strictly virtual.
And how do you feel about doing everything virtual?
Well, it's kind of hard for some students because of the internet access, but for me, it's okay. And some students, they might feel better doing virtual than being in-person classroom due to the fact of safety purposes.
Yeah. And I know you lifted up earlier also like being able to maybe slip your teacher a note in the chat versus having to, say everything in a full classroom setting. And that may allow students to be a little more comfortable as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Chris? I know y'all doing all virtual. How are you feeling about doing everything that way?
We're doing all virtual. I don't want to risk going to school and catching this virus. I know some people out there that don't got symptoms to it.
Yeah. That's great. And thank y'all for sharing this because I know like this is such a wild time that we are in. As I think several of you lifted up when it was first announced. Y'all were like, okay, it's spring break, this works, or about to be spring break, and then it didn't end. And so I know kind of navigating what school looks like, especially for, y'all being juniors and seniors, is a whole thing. So thinking about what you were just saying, Chris, around, wanting to be safe, and I know several of you mentioned kind of the numbers and just the realities of the pandemic. Talk to me about what safety looks like to you, and how can we make schools safer for students. And so by we, I mean parents, community members, district leaders, adults generally. Like, what can we be doing to make school safer for y'all, and what does safety look like to you?
My school is pretty big. Our senior class alone is roughly about 200 students. So we go on different days and wear masks, like have to keep our mask on, hand sanitizer everywhere, one way always. So, with the social distance and the desk 6 feet apart, they'll help a lot if we do go back in person.
I think, well, personally, my school is doing okay with their safety restrictions and stuff. We have to have mandatory masks, and there's like hand sanitizer in every classroom, and all the bathrooms, are stocked up. But the only problem I have is that, like she said, like my school is pretty big, and they're like building our new school while we're at school. So we only have one walkway for all the students. So hallways get pretty crowded. So if they could find another way to maneuver us around the school, I would like that, but I feel much more comfortable.
Well, to me, I feel like safety is being in a clean environment and following the CDC guidelines. I feel like schools should sanitize classrooms and bathrooms for students before they come. And I feel like the teachers should let the students use hand sanitizer before entering the class. But I'm not sure about the mask part, because wearing a mask for long periods of time deoxygenates your body, and it's not good. So I would say recommend face shields, and that way you can get the proper breath you need, and students can communicate with teachers easier.
You gotta tell us about deoxygenating our bodies. I know some of y'all are Beta Club members, so I'm hearing that biology jump on now. And what about you, Chris? How do you, like, what does safety look like for you, and how can we make schools safer for students?
You do social distancing, hand sanitizer, spacing. But the part about the basket, I know for a fact that I wouldn't be able to wear a mask the whole school day without taking it off. So that's the only thing for me. Um, yeah, clean schools, clean environment. That's about it.
So I know we talked a lot about kind of what school looked like earlier this spring, what y'all have been feeling since you realized we are fully in this pandemic, and things would look a little different this year as well for school. But now I want to think and talk a little bit about kind of the future, because we are going to make it through. Things will change. They will still be different, but this will not and does not have to be our reality forever. So thinking about that, what future do you want to see after the coronavirus? Sky's the limit.
I want to see people keeping up the same measures like sanitizer, constantly washing your hands, just to prevent another coronavirus pandemic. It don't have to normally just be the coronavirus, but any pandemic. And I just hope that we can continue on with sports, and I just hope like this isn't our new normal and we go back to what it was at first.
I do think we need to just start like adjusting, and because it doesn't have to be our new normal, but for a while it will be, like, permanently it won't have to be, but for a while we're going to be dealing with this just because America is so far in. A lot of researchers think that coronavirus is now going to be like one of those common cold type of things that just reoccur. So I think we should, like she said, keep like sanitizing stuff in place, and just all those like healthy habits. We should keep on pounding those in. But I do think we need to learn just to control what we can control, because like our seasons are like kind of messed up, like sports season and stuff. And even though people are upset about that, I feel like we do need to just like adjust and react to what we can control.
Yeah, like they said, keep using the hand sanitizer. But the only thing about that is, in the future, I don't want to use hand sanitizer as anything I have to touch. And I want to be able to enjoy myself is by going to restaurants, amusement parks, beaches, etc. And I want to have a normal graduation, prom, and senior trip.
Yeah, I agree with all them. Like, we was in the middle. Like, I ran track, play football, so we was in the middle of the track season and all this here. And at first, I didn't think too much about it until like they started canceling everything, and now they talking about how football season supposed to be canceled. So I want everything to go back uh, as normal as it can be. Like, I want to be able to go places with people and enjoy my life.
That is absolutely real. And this is another question, kind of thinking about what you all were just sharing. When we're thinking about future and y'all talking about wanting to keep some stuff and wanting to go back to other things. I wanted to throw in this question. At this moment, what are you looking forward to this school year? If anything, because that may also be real too.
I'm looking forward to actually going back in our first day of school so we can take teachers, and we take senior drakes tomorrow. So that's good. And I'm looking forward to season and graduation.
I'm looking for my volleyball season. It's supposed to be starting on the 24th, so I'm hoping that it does. So yeah, I'm excited about games. We went to state last year, so I'm hoping we can do the same this year.
I'm looking forward to football season, basketball season, to take senior portraits, and just to have a normal graduation.
I'm looking forward to football season. Our season supposed to start on September 4th. Not really that good last year, but this year supposed to turn a lot of heads. And I'm also looking forward to track season. 'Cause before all this started, I, uh, I almost broke the school record, 110-meter hurdle.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to try to break the record.
So we got some good goals. We got some good stuff. This is an important year. So then, want to ask y'all this question. I think this may be our last question because I'm not sure how much time we have. But as a young person, what's something you want to say to people who will watch this recording? That being, adults, people in the community, district leaders, like I said, lawmakers even, or something that you want them to know and understand. And just additional context to that question, I think, Kasia, I hope you're following me saying this. We were briefly talking before, and she kind of just lifted up that in all these decisions being made and things happening, a lot of folks weren't talking to y'all, like the actual students impacted. Like this is, y'all lifted up. We got sports, we got prom, we got graduations, we have all of these things that are big moments. And your education, a lot of y'all, like I said earlier, are super involved in things at your school. It didn't really seem like a lot of people were asking y'all what y'all think or how y'all felt. And so that question of kind of just, what's something you want to say to people watching, or something you want folks to know or understand from you?
You go ahead. You can go.
Okay, I would want them to know, like, try to stay at home as much as you can, and if you do have to get out, it's like the most, like when everyone participate and abide by the rules, then they can nip the coronavirus in the bud. And I would like lawmakers and anybody else to keep in mind, like, that this is a faith thing.
I would want adults to know. Well, older adults tend to like forget that children and like young adults are actually people with like emotions, and they feel stress and everything just like them. So I would just want them to keep that in mind in every decision. And, like you said, ask us, what we feel, because we do have feelings and we do have things that we want to input.
Well, it is really isn't too much to say that has not already been said. Keep wearing your mask, keep using hand sanitizer, use your life in general, keep safe, and remember to keep God first. And the virus should be taken seriously. And as young people, we must not forget about our loved ones that are at high risk of the virus.
Said, the best thing, be safe, and also thing to keep in mind that the Jackson coronavirus is not the only thing that you be worried about. So I would tell them to stay home as much as they can.
Thank y'all. I think y'all have all lifted up really necessary and important things for us as adults, older adults. I'm not that much older. To know and pay attention to, but it's so important, and I'm so grateful to have been able to share space with you all. While I am sad that we didn't go live, so we didn't get all of the questions that may have came through via chat, I am still so grateful to have been able to be in this space, and I'm very thankful to our sponsors again, One Voice and NAACP, for putting this panel together, this amazing panel together. And before I formally close, any last words from each of y'all? Just y'all want to share anything? Well, if not, thank you, Kaja, Kendall, Chris, and Sanaa for your time, for your patience and endurance and all that's going on around you. I am lifting each of you all up as you continue at school and start your school years in the coming weeks. And I'm sending y'all all the good energy because I know that y'all are brilliant, and I'm hoping that all y'all are looking forward to gets to happen, and that people, as y'all have said, stay safe, so that y'all can do what y'all want to do and what these years of high school are for. So thank y'all so much, and thank you to everyone watching. And please tune in to the NAACP page next Friday for a new video. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.